Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different than my usual realism. I am going to be coloring this cute little illustration that I did the other day in my sketchbook. But there's a catch. I am only going to be using these colored pencils. They have to be the smallest colored pencils known to man. These are the smallest that I've ever seen. So stay tuned and watch me struggle. I think that I feel the hand cramps already. Hi, Shannon Rowe Jackson here from Caution R Stat Play, and as you saw in the intro, today I am playing with the smallest colored pencils I have ever seen. This is just a small, quick little illustration that I did, and I thought it would be fun to color it, and I had these colored pencils because one of my friends from work actually bought these for me as a gift. It's kind of a novelty thing, but I noticed that they're actually real colored pencils, so as soon as she gave them to me, I knew that I would end up having to do a video with them of some sort. So I had done this illustration one night just on a whim. I just wanted to play around and do something a little whimsical because I like to switch back and forth between whimsy and realism. And I know that I show a lot of realism on my channel, but occasionally I like to show some illustration and, you know, other styles as well. So this is just one of those times. Initially, when I first did this sketch, I wasn't sure if this would be the one that I would color with these colored pencils. I just wanted to do it in my sketchbook in my spare time. I didn't really plan on putting it on my channel. But then when I was trying to decide how I wanted to color the sketch, I figured this would be a perfect opportunity to try out those colored pencils. So that's what I'm doing here. And the colored pencils, there's not like a whole lot of color choices. I think there's like, is it 12 pencils? I'm not even actually sure how many pencils there are. So there wasn't like any skin tones or anything like that in there. So I had to make up any skin tones myself, which was quite a challenge. And of course, the main challenge was being able to hold on to these colored pencils. I actually had a very difficult time getting into the tooth of the paper with the tips of the pencils, mainly because I couldn't see past my own hand to see the tip of the pencil and see where it was hitting on the paper. So that was really the main challenge, was like keeping it in the lines and actually trying to get even coverage because I couldn't see what I was doing most of the time because my hand was blocking it. It was actually kind of a lot of fun anyway, and it actually was a lot quicker than I thought. You would think that it would have taken longer because they're so small, but really it actually didn't take much longer than I would have expected. I'm just kind of going in, and I had already inked the drawing because, as I said, I wasn't really planning on putting the drawing on here, so when I drew it out, I didn't record the actual initial drawing. So it's pretty much me just coloring in a coloring book at this point, but it's my own illustration. And I got this idea for this illustration one night when I was laying in bed. I have a major sweet tooth, like crazy, and it's something that I'm trying to work on, but I swear to God, this girl is my spirit animal because she just is living the dream. And I don't know, I just think it's so fun, and it's fun to, you know, just play around with the imagination and see where it goes from time to time. So it was really difficult. Like, of course, I'm a sucker for punishment, so I tried to make it harder on myself. I tried to put polka dots on her shirt, which I actually succeeded in doing a couple of times, but there are a few polka dots that accidentally got colored over. And I tried to do some shading, so I would use, obviously, like the darker blue on the jeans for the darker parts, and then I'd use the lighter blue for the lighter parts, you know, basic shading. And I actually had a lot of fun. And one reason why I didn't want to do realism with these pencils is because I knew that I would use up a lot of the pencil if I did that. Like, if I had done a full piece with these pencils like I had done like with regular colored pencils, or even a smaller piece but in realism, I knew I would have used up a lot of the pencil, and I didn't want to do that because these are a gift, so I want to have them in my studio and I want to keep them as a novelty item. But I figured that this would be a nice way to not use up too much pencil and still see what they're like and just have fun and experiment with them. And I thought it would make a fun video. The other issue was I could not figure out how to sharpen them. I never did find a good way to sharpen them. An X-Acto knife was way bigger than the pencil itself. It's really hard to grip these pencils, and I was really afraid of cutting myself, so I couldn't do that. Obviously, regular pencil sharpeners are too big. I tried to play around with maneuvering it within a regular pencil sharpener, and it didn't work out well, which you will probably see if you ever get a good glimpse of my white pencil. I had tried to sharpen that one because I used that quite a bit to try some burnishing, which actually worked. Like, these pencils actually work. I almost feel like they're even a little bit more vibrant than, like, Crayola. They're actually pretty good little pencils. I couldn't see anywhere what company made these pencils, and it looked like she got these from a local art museum, so it was just a novelty item. So I have no idea what company actually makes these pencils, because I am curious to know if they make regular pencils or if this was just, you know, just some generic novelty company that throws out a bunch of different products that made them, because they're actually not too bad. If I had been able to see past my own stubby thumbs to, like, actually get into the groove of the paper, I think that they would have been really good. They're quite vibrant, surprisingly, for something that isn't really made to be used as an art supply. The hardest part was getting into the little details of all the candy and the sweets that I drew around her. That was one of the most difficult parts, especially that lollipop, because I wanted it to be a rainbow lollipop, of course, because why not make it harder on myself and try and put all kinds of colors into a small space? But that was probably the most difficult part, but it was still so much fun to see that little lollipop come together. And then on some of the candy, I couldn't really bother to put more than one color in there, so they're not very detailed at all. I could only really just muster up enough detail to color in the candy itself, which works out fine, because it's, you know, it's an illustration. It doesn't need to be realistic. I'm not going to go too heavy on the shading. I really just wanted to have fun and to see if these pencils worked, and I wanted to also show my friend Jane that gave them to me that I did something with them, because I knew she'd get a kick out of it. And this girl has some crazy hair. I don't know what I was thinking when I drew her hair. But it was fun, and I just wanted her to be kooky and happy and delightful, and I think that came across in the illustration. One thing that I didn't do that I normally do is a background. I was not going to color the whole page of this sketchbook, and this isn't a very large sketchbook. I think it's like a 6x8, but I was not going to try and do large areas of color with these colored pencils. I knew that it would kill my hands and that it would just use up the pencils way too quick, and that was something that I didn't want to do. Right here you can see that I'm doing some burnishing with that white, and it actually worked pretty well. It did lighten colors pretty well, considering it's obviously not as vibrant as like a Prismacolor white or anything like that. It's not very opaque, but it did lighten the colors, and it did work for burnishing. And I tried not to use anything else other than these pencils when I was doing the coloring, so I didn't use a burnisher or anything else like that, or any OMS. Plus, this is just like regular sketchbook paper, so I don't think it would have been able to handle OMS. I just wanted to see what I could do with the pencils themselves. And going in, the face was kind of difficult to get detail in as well. Anything small, of course, like I did a small illustration for small pencils, so it was difficult to get in there at times, but I'm actually really happy with the way it came out. It just makes me happy to look at, and it's just a fun addition to my sketchbook, which I am not very good at working in regularly, so at least there's something in there. And I'll be going back to doing my regular realism. I have finally decided to work with my Derwent Lightfast, so you'll see a video on that soon. And here's the final piece. I hope that you enjoyed watching this. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit subscribe. Also, if you're interested in seeing more of my artwork, I'm on social media, so check out the links in the description below.